you talking to? What are you trying to prove to everyone else? Who is superior? How is your vision clearer than anyone else? Your head's in the sky, in flight, but you will crash and burn. But you will crash it!
Welcome to Agency Land, a podcast about advertising, ambition, and the lies we tell ourselves to survive both. I'm Jye Smith, and this is your survival guide. Today's guest studied finance and law and was working at Westpac. Then he and his two best mates, Leo and Taki, started a run club called Runday. Jayden picked up the camera, started making content for it. The content took off. People kept asking who's making their stuff, so the three of them quit their jobs and started a production company. They quickly realized their safe corporate name didn't fit anywhere. Then they worked with a branding agency to rebrand as Pool Party, which I think is the coolest agency name I've seen, and I've done this for a long time. And now you guys are running a production agency out of Erskineville, creative studio, part music venue, part community. They throw a gig every month with Australian artists, and they did it without asking anyone's permission and without the traditional agency pedigree. Please welcome today's guest, Jayden Garcia. How are you, mate?
Fuck, what an intro. That's probably the best summary of like my history and this company that I've ever heard. I wish you were there to say that every time someone goes, "What's Pool Party?"
I'll send you my script, man.
Yeah. You've nailed that. That's awesome. Thank you for first of all for having me. I appreciate you having me on and having this conversation. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Look, we met at Runday, and I've just kept an eye on what you and the guys are doing because it's just been so fascinating. And then when I went and looked at your history, I had no idea that you're studying finance and law, working at Westpac. Then you started Runday. At what point did you actually pick up a camera and think, maybe the content is worth doing more professionally?
Very quickly. I mean, this was prior to run clubs being like the talk of the town and being considered like the coolest thing going around. So we were like obviously taking a few flicks on our iPhone, and there wasn't really clubs around. There was probably the 440 and Park Run. And the 440 was like hyper local to obviously the crew down there, and Park Run was a bit of an older demo. So pretty quickly when we started posting on the Sundays on our iPhones, and we made as soon as we made an Instagram to call it something, we were like, okay, it probably needs to reflect a better sort of aesthetic and be captured a bit better. If we're trying to bring people in here that we don't know, they need to feel something going in.
That's not a traditional, that's not a typical mindset like an athlete or anyone who's fitness looks at. What is it about your upbringing that made you think about the aesthetic to that degree?
Honestly, I would have to say it's just personality. Like I think, and for better or worse, I don't know, but it would be, there's a certain like attention to, fashion and design and maybe a potential vanity there that comes in early just in my own personal life. And I guess that's why I get along with my two business partners now. We're all very similar in that respect. And I think we'd like things that look good. And for us, it was like having the proposition of a run club be attractive meant it needed to look good. So looking good was like half the battle, I think.
Yeah. No,
it changed over time. We realized different priorities got people there, but at least we thought it was important to look good.
I think, you're right. And I think it's something people shy away from saying openly because run clubs, the gym, vanity, it's all a part of our identity. And I don't think it's as necessarily vapid or shallow. I think it's about the way we kind of show up and kind of see ourselves in this kind of socially media driven world where we're seeing other people. It's like, where do we fit in? What do we look like amongst them? Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And I think at the end of the day, I think you should judge someone by their character and how you would interact with them day to day and in a personal experience. Look, if people are vain and it makes them, a better person because they pay attention to their hygiene or the way they come across in a social interaction, then great. Like, I don't think it always has to be such a frowned upon thing, but for us, that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And talk us through Runday. Where did that come from? How did it start? And when did it become more than just you three running?
Yeah. Honestly, I'd have to go on the IG to see exactly when. Taki would probably know the date off the top of his head. But me and Taki started running in Cronulla, and we just did it a few times, like honestly, it didn't take long. It was a few weekends and we were like, Sunday is Runday. This is just what we do now. And so, our friend group is like relatively, I suppose there's a wide, everyone's got that group of 10 rough friends. So when you get everyone down there, 10 people looks like a lot of people. So
how did that grow?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good question. Once we put our name on it, you know what did it, honestly? We were like, well, two things. The running format we knew wasn't popular. Like we knew, especially at that time, this is 5 years ago, running wasn't the hottest thing going around. Your K pace wasn't a fucking topic of conversation at the cafe. And so to get people more, perhaps open to it, we came up with the best 30 format, which was you just go 15 forward and 15 back. It doesn't matter how far you run, you start and finish together just by the way of setting a time, not a distance. You can walk, you can run. So walk, run, jog became like a really popular thing. The best 30 was like the thing that coined Runday's like sort of format, I guess. And then the first thing we thought of once we got some people down there and we had a consistent format, we were like, well, this needs to be more than a run. There's so much to health and holistic health outside of running that now that we have people here, we should probably give them something because they've given us their time. Let's give them back something. And yeah, I guess that formed the basis of like offering other services as a part of this, essentially a fitness platform.
Yeah, incredible. And I think there's such a nice altruism there where you're just doing it to, inspire yourself, keep yourself motivated, get your friends motivated, rather than using it as a vehicle to sell something else, know. But there are great commercial opportunities, like 100%. I remember a few that I came down, someone was selling iced coffee and it was just so cool to like, I'm a big believer in, buy stuff off your friends and ask big companies for free shit. And I think that's such a powerful message to get through of we're all trying to hustle, we're all trying to do something cool. And it helps if we all do it together.
Yeah, that's 100% it. And I think like that was really the basis for what we thought was like, we realized eventually there was a potential market there because when you have an audience, you can sell something. But yeah, we were like, all right, like let's just give and give and give. And that meant collaboration was our like method of giving. Everyone we engaged with had to be on the same page. There was commercial aspects to it sometimes, like some people would sell coffee, but honestly, for the majority of it, it was all free, just giving. Yeah.
Yeah. When you left Westpac, Leo and Taki left their jobs as well. You started it as Control Media. Was there any other cost behind probably, a financial one to walk away and from a finance career and get into production?
The obvious one definitely is the financial one. I'd say the cost just being like you foregoing a particular life that you're going to be able to afford and live with your significant other in the immediate 1 to 5 years. I think you forego it at the time, not knowing or not actually considering the fact that your life path is now changing.
Yeah.
You just do it because you're like, you've romanticized this opportunity. I'm 5 years younger than I am today. So you don't really consider them heaps. But looking back now, I realize like you forego the security of that income to get that, like to put a deposit on your house, just to move forward with things that you would consider pretty regular in that position.
Yeah. Look, I think it's a brave choice. I'm so glad it's worked out for you because it is such a powerful thing you're doing. I think where I really noticed was the rebrand. You had Control Media. You said that it was safe. And I think one of the quotes I read was you recognized pretty quickly that you'd picked a name that was safe, and then you wanted to take a bigger risk. But what were you actually afraid of that first time picking the safe name?
I think we were just like in an industry that we knew nothing about at the end of the day. We didn't know if clients would, like, we didn't know what clients we would have, like what even work we would be doing. We literally were just in the dark. And so we picked, looking back, like you're like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. You're like, you pick something that just may fit in the category of media or production, I suppose. So, I think there might have been like a rationale because we had some superstitious thing about the symbols on a keyboard, and that's a different story.
You know what? Because that's, as soon as I saw it, like being a massive nerd, I'm like, oh, I like that because there's a symbol on the keyboard, and that's how you get things done. And I'm like,
So to be honest, to tell you, I don't think we've even told anyone. We had Runday, which was whatever that was, and then we were going to start an activewear brand called Alter, and the logo for that was going to be the Alt key on the symbol, the Alt option, the little, and that was alternate to Runday, so Alter, like Alter.
Ha.
And then the next key on that board is Control, like that's and the logo for Control was the Control key on the Mac. So that's where we were. I don't know why we were grabbing our inspo from the Mac keyboard, but we actually thought it was genius because we thought, well, first of all, we thought the Alter logo is something everyone sees and like you don't even know where you've seen it, but it's in front of you every day. Likewise, Control's a bit less creative. It's just an arrow, but yeah, that's the concept.
But I love that idea that there are symbols in front of us every day that we use, but we've never paid attention to. And to be able to grab that kind of social or that technological artifact, I think it's a really great branding move, which brings me next to the next question. When you went to pool party, what was the sense you had? Like you clearly you wanted to throw off kind of this safety net. What was what were the ideas and the conversations you were having moving to pool party, and where did that name come from?
There was a lot of combos, that's for sure. There was no shortage of fucking back and forth on that one. That was much more funny. It's like, I was going to say much more considered, but it was only considered in the whole sense of considering a new name. That name in particular was like not that considered. It was like, you know what? There's a feeling here, and like I'm sick of looking at new names from a branding agency because I've been through 30 names. And finally, they threw that out, and we all like. I think I was the one that sort of maybe pushed everyone over the edge, but they all resonated with it, and the whole company was sort of like, "Oh yeah, I can see something here." There's, you can rationalize that in a few different ways. There was music ties, there was whatever, there was a few different things there, but yeah, we were like, we'd been through a lot of names, and that was the first one I think that hit, and we were like, okay, this is interesting,
Yeah. It's a branding, like Double Star as a branding agency, we go through that process a lot. And you're right, it has to hit, and not in some fluffy way. It just you can't get too many names. You can't have too few. You need to, it's like taking a shot. You need to aim, have the context, understand what you're doing, and then kind of launch forward. Otherwise, no one's on board, everyone's tired, and you just end up picking something because you got to pick something.
Yeah, 100%. And like I think the defining thing was like, did it put a smile on your face? Like you couldn't say it and discuss it without this sort of smile we're doing now. Like we were like, oh, like this is a reaction that can't not be positive. So that really helped get it over the line for sure.
Like it would even set culture internally. It would like inform everything you do. I love it. It's just such a clear, happy, joyful moment. I think one of the things I've seen written is everyone loves a pool party. I'm like,
yeah. And also I have to give credit to Plum. That was the branding agency we worked with. They were two guys down from Melbourne. I'm not sure if that's still a company or whatever, but they were great, and they ended up there. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll check them out for sure.
Yeah.
You obviously came in as a total outsider to agency land. You kind of thought it was all smoke and mirrors. You had no formal, like advertising training, although I don't know if that counts. Like probably no connections. What did you see about agency land that maybe other people didn't? Who brought up in it? I mean,
yeah, I think like to be honest, and we're like transparently, we're still learning about agency land. It's such an interesting it's an interesting space because it's been around for so long, and it's like it is quite a big beast. I guess we just took our what did we learn? I suppose we learned that like agency land is pretty it's obviously super network based, and super relationship heavy. And we realized that pretty quickly. And fortunately enough, we've been really good at making connections and networking. And then you essentially meet someone that you didn't even know would know that person at MNC or whatever it might be. So that's been really helpful. But I think the thing that Pool Party did was just, I guess it looked beyond giving a service to a client. We respected our own IP and our own brand as a part of the interaction with our client, which doesn't typically happen in agency land, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. Understanding that to collaborate, to work together, you need to stand up for yourself, because what are you bringing? Your point of view, your creativity, your experience.
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
can't be this weird vendor relationship where you're getting you and the guys to come in and be creative, have a point of view, and then crush it or not respect that brand or that culture behind them as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's probably something that has carried on throughout Pool Party's sort of emergence. And I think that's been our thing. Like, that's why I suppose we've carved out a name for ourselves, as big or small as it may be. It is what it is, because we've sort of allowed our brand to speak through and come through the projects we do and interact with the clients we deal with.
You run this business and really that, with a lot of conviction, and you run it with your two best mates. What's been it like as navigating the friendship? Certainly mine with my business partner, it changed over time. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But, we needed to learn who we were in the building and outside the building so that we could still do both at the same time. What's your experience been like? What challenges have there been?
It's a big one, that one. I must say, like, we're super fortunate enough to have like two people that feel like brothers and feel like family, and like, whatever, it sounds cliche, but it really is what it is. And I don't think you can really build something with longevity if you don't wholeheartedly trust the other person. If you can't tell them you're being a fucking idiot and blah, blah, you know what I mean? Like, you really need to be able to transparently, without ego, talk to each other and understand what the fuck's going on. And like, blessed for us to have that relationship. So that's the first thing, but it is still difficult. And sometimes there are pros and cons to that in and of itself. Like, being friends, like, sometimes the waters do get a little like, you still question things, because like, yeah, I mean, naturally, like, if you would treat your brother different to how you would treat a colleague that you have gone into business with.
Yeah.
But I think for better, like, it's been for the better in that sense of the relationship. Perhaps one of the challenges is the fact that because we're friends, the culture in the company can be mistaken for like a friend group, which is easily done when you hire on culture and that sort of thing, and you try to like carry on this relationship and friendship that we have with employees. That's where it gets a little like you can run into a couple problems there. So that has, you don't want to set the basis for something super casual when it's not with other people in the company.
Because the interactions between you three can blur, and you know how to pull each other in. But then if there's people around you, and I hate to use the word like subordinate, but that's kind of what it is. Someone who works for you, it can be a conflicting message of, wait, you want me to be professional, but you're talking to him like that. So there's a lot of self-awareness. Yeah,
definitely. And that's on us at the end of the day. Like, your employees and whatever, anyone you have the relationship with typically reciprocates the energy and the sort of the values you're putting out there. So if you set a casual environment, that's what you're going to have to deal with. And so that's definitely on us. But that's something we've had to manage, I guess, over the years.
Yeah. And I've learned the same lesson. How I used to run it 5 years ago or 6 years ago would not be how I run it today. And, I know some of my team members for 5 years, and we have a different relationship than somebody's been here for 3 months. And sometimes I'll say something not thinking about it, then they'll make the same joke, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't okay to make. And I'm like, wait, I just did that same thing last week.
Yeah, but, exactly.
Told myself it was okay.
Yeah. And like, that's always changing. And like, even looking now, I can see, I mean, that's just running a business, but like, you can see, okay, I might need to make some changes, because what I was doing 6 months ago, you can see it now with a bit of hindsight, and you're like, this isn't ideal, or whatever it might be. So constantly learning on that front.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Is there any mantra or any bit of advice you've been given that kind of keeps you steady at Pool Party now?
There's a couple things going through my mind. Lately, it's been, I suppose, do the things that you don't want to do. And that's just, I suppose, something for anyone in life. I guess what's keeping me steady in life, because my life at this point, especially lately, has just been this. So it's like, if it's keeping me steady here, it's keeping me steady in general. And that's probably that call of like, it really comes down to you doing most of the time things that you like don't really want to do. It's like, it's just the harsh reality of like running a business or trying to make a name for yourself or creating content or running or being fit. Like it's just the things you don't really want to do are the things between you and where you want to be. So
I love that. I think, and you're right. It's
Yeah.
not just business, but who you are at work. It's 8, 9, 10 hours of your day. You're going to take it home. But I think
Yeah.
the fitness thing is a great example. You know, like, not all of us like running. You know, you don't want to go and do that extra lap, but you know you should because you'll get better, and you know the payoff later will be worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you thought about you back at Westpac, still in finance, I'm assuming you were suited and booted. Would you tell him to get out now, or would you say do a few more do a few more years here, learn, listen, and then come and do this because there's something great waiting for you? Or would you say get the fuck out and go and do it?
It's a good question, actually. I think I would say do it. I'd say get out and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Jayden, this has been great, mate. Like I've been following you from the sidelines. I love what you've done as a brand. I just think it's phenomenal. And I love seeing all the success you guys have had. I really had heaps of respect for you guys running Runday, seeing that community, seeing it grow. So thank you for sharing your insight. You've come at this like no one else has from the outside in. And I think production, as we kind of move to this more AI-driven world, and I'm sure you're like us, you're using it, experimenting it, but you kind of know at the end of the day, it's that creative point of view that's going to make this stuff work or not.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And it's been great chatting. I really liked it.
Awesome, man.
Thanks, Jye.
Thanks.
Agency Land, a Survivors podcast, is hosted and produced by me, Jye Smith, founder and head of creative and strategy at Double Star Co. Our intro track, Crash and Burn, featuring Northlane by PhaseOne, used with the kindest of permissions from Fat Cat Music. Special thanks to Carla Munn and Jaron Norton for the art, design, and motion. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, leave us a review, and share it with somebody navigating agency life. Until then, you're good, get better, and stop asking for things.